Well, everybody, my name's Ernesto Alaniz, pastor at Flint City Church. I'm joined by
Pastor Wes of the Rock Church.
and this is the Encore. Our
Still the Encore.
what is this? Every other week? Every other week, we kind of come on your YouTube channel and we bring you hopefully some biblical wisdom,
And
insight,
a little bit of entertainment.
a little bit of entertainment.
People like that part, though. Somebody told me the other day, I really feel like I get to know you guys, so that's good.
That's great. So at the beginning of this whole thing, before we get into the meat, we have
Get to know you guys.
we got the stinking, we do dessert first.
yeah, we do. All right. What are we talking about today, though?
We're talking about lawsuits, bro.
Yeah, that's very
Can
relevant.
a Christian sue someone?
Can a Christian sue someone? File a lawsuit. I'll touch me and I'll sue you.
Sue me for what? You knocked him down. Why are you knocking me down?
Hey, Tommy.
Okay.
That's my favorite part.
It's the only good part of the whole
No,
movie.
it's not.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Rocky V is not a good movie, Wes.
I'm not going to say it's a good movie. I'm not going to say.
Go for it. Oh, baka, 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 baka. Like, it's
That hurt me to hear that. That hurt me. That's real bad.
That song is terrible.
It's real bad.
I mean, you have 4 movies of great music, and Part 5 has Go For It, that wannabe hip-hop track. Oh, it's terrible, dude.
I don't argue that any of the Rockies are really a good movie.
Shut your mouth.
I know we've done this. I don't want to do this again.
Okay.
We talk about movies too much.
What do you got?
Okay, here's what I got. Do you have a policy, personal policy?
Personal policy. Probably yes.
What is your personal policy on responding to text messages?
Oh, no, Morris. WB coming strong.
And you know all the why I'm asking. You know all the
I
assumptions.
don't know what's behind. Okay.
Well, you know, people have assumptions, you know, and this doesn't come, no one did this to me recently, but it happens, right? It's like, did you get my text?
Listen,
Never texted me back.
I've had the same cell phone number 15 years. Same cell phone. That number is out there.
Mm-hmm.
I get on average 20 to 30 a day,
Yeah.
and they just push down.
It just goes and goes and goes.
Listen, some people never get a text back. That's
Okay.
just what it is. I try. If something comes through that's crazy, I try to throw it in a to-do list.
Yeah. You mean that you need to respond?
I need to deal with
Yeah,
this.
understood.
But some things, if someone sends me a meme, that's not getting a response.
Right.
You sent me a silly thing, and I just move on. That's not. I'm not playing tennis with you.
Yeah.
And I've no time to say a cute
I try to
meme.
lure you into tennis sometimes.
Listen,
Sometimes you bite, and then it's on.
I've gotten a lot worse over the last year, 2 years,
About
texting back.
not texting. Like,
Texting for me has almost become like email. It's just put to the side.
I agree with you.
And I try. There used to be people used to think you should text right away.
Well, they used to say it, right? Did you get my email? Oh, yeah, I got it.
And texting was
What is your point?
like I'll call people, and they'll say, "Text me" in the message. The voicemail will say, "If you want to get a hold of me, please text me." I think for me, phone call is superior to texting.
If you call me, something needed to happen. Like, you know, like especially if you left a voicemail, and it better have needed to be left. You know what I'm saying? Like, people call and talk all day, drive. Like, what are you talking about? Talking on my voicemail for an hour.
So I don't have a current policy. I try on Tuesdays, when I come to the office on Tuesdays, I try to go through and catch up on some of them.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I
just
do.
did it today.
I try. But listen, if I missed that Tuesday, that's gone. That gets pushed down.
Mm-hmm.
I tell some people, I see them on Sunday, I'm like, you texted me? I'm sorry. Like,
I've done this.
it fell out of my
Oh,
head.
yeah, exactly. It just went down the feed. And
I mean,
I'm not going to go get them all.
There are things competing for attention.
Yes.
And I'm not saying people are not worth it.
Absolutely not. Not saying that.
It's just too many things are coming in. And I
Right.
feel bad about this, dude.
Do you?
I a little bit, not like I don't lose sleep over it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I drop balls. I drop.
Was it a dropped ball?
People feel
This is the problem.
People feel that way. They feel like
It make you feel that way.
I texted you and you never responded. Thankfully, I tell some people in the church, listen, if you don't hear from me, text me back in a few days, because if it needs to be reminded of, I get texts over all like invited to someone's this ministry in the cities having a dinner.
Yeah.
I get invited to a lot of those things.
Yeah.
I'm not going to most of those things.
Right.
I can have a dinner every night of the week
Every night.
with some ministry that has a vision of what they're going to do for the city.
Yeah.
I can't go to all of them. I can't. People have great intentions. I'm not even against it. Do your thing.
Understood.
I just can't be a part of everybody's thing. I just can't. I exist.
You're talking beyond text message right now.
You asked me this question.
Like, lay down on the couch. Are we in a full scale counseling meeting right now? I just wanted to talk about texting. You're talking crazy right now. Okay, go back to the
texting.
Is there a social societal obligation that lives in the wind to respond?
There may have been.
This is where I'm at.
I think the rules are changing, and
agree.
no one knows what the new rules are. It used to be.
I agree 100% with that.
I think it used to be text needed to be responded to very quickly.
Is it because of new generations coming online and they don't feel the same as older generations? Why is that happening?
Man, I don't know.
I don't either.
I mean, things change quick. I mean, how many kids text on different device, like different apps? Like, there's people will use like.
Yeah,
I have friends who use Messenger instead of texting.
Yeah, I understand.
As an office, we have Slack instead of it's just all these different ways we'll get a hold of you. And Messenger, sometimes I don't know how to find it. In Facebook, there's like a tab of people who aren't your friend. They can message you. You got to go to pick up a page to see this. I'll sometimes find that page, and there's stuff from a year ago. People saying, Pastor, my so-and-so passed away. Will you do a funeral?
This was your means of communication?
Like, you reached out to me, and you weren't my friend, so I went to this weird, little non-friend folder. There was no red number telling me I had an unread thing, and I missed it.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
No, we were good.
I don't have a policy when it comes to texting. Listen, I try to get back to
But
people.
you don't have a you must respond to all text policy.
I give a lot of grace to myself. That sounds a little stupid.
I like it.
But I can't live under the tyranny of 1,000 people.
That's good.
I cannot.
That's good.
I answer to the Lord, and my kids and my wife are not going to get leftovers. That phone gets put down.
Yeah.
That phone is on Mondays, it's up on my bed.
Yeah.
And I'm not wearing my Apple Watch on Mondays either, because that thing will beep you.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys do that. That's the only reason, one of the main reasons I don't have one, but because I don't want more ways to have
all
people
notifications are silenced. This is mostly for you're sitting too long, you just stand up.
Yeah. I mean,
it
I like
measures,
what it is.
It tells me, you have not had your heart rate up. It tells me to work out more. I try to close my ring.
I like Apple Watches. I don't have one, but I like them. But the last thing I would want is another thing.
No.
Telling me people are trying to
I've turned off the notifications on my laptop, on my iPad. I don't want everything dinging me whenever someone reaches out to me.
Yeah, no.
I don't need that.
I agree.
I have to be able to learn how to focus and do something for a certain amount of time. When I do sermon study, I don't want every single phone call and every single text to pull me away from that reality. I want to be able to read a book.
Yeah.
I want to go on a bike ride and listen, if someone can hold me on a bike ride for half an hour, that's what it is. It's okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel the burden or responsibility to be accessible to all people at all times. And I used to feel that way.
Yeah.
And no way do I feel that anymore.
I don't either. And I don't want people to think, I'm not annoyed that you're
Not
trying
at
to get a
all.
hold of me, but I don't feel an obligation to answer all these blue dots on my phone. I'm not going to do that. It's just stuff drifts. I'll read it. Oh, that's neat. And I'll just keep going. I'm not going to, and then get into a thing with, 16 people. I'm not doing that.
Sometimes someone will call me and I'm driving. And I answer oh, you don't answer. Well, you caught me in a moment where I'm just kind of driving.
Yep.
And so we'll talk for 15 minutes. It's great, but it's if I'm doing something else and I can't.
Yeah, I agree. And I just want to say that applies to my extended family, everybody. I'm can't answer that right now.
If I call you You don't answer. I don't message. I'm like, oh, he's probably busy. I'll
Yep.
talk to him next week.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
like it's, even though you're a good friend, I'll see good friends sometimes. And the first thing they'll say to me is like, about time you showed up, or something like this, like
Some guilt trip about communication.
I'm like, listen, we have lives, we have families, we have this. Like when my best friends, I can see them after a year,
Those are the best kind of friends.
and
that
we
I
just
have,
pick it up because like
they understand.
I have affection for you.
Yes.
I enjoy. I care for your family, and if the world fell down, you called, I would come.
That's true. That's true.
But you better make sure you don't play the card for nothing.
If you answer. No, my friend Roy, you kind of know him.
Yeah.
My friend Roy in North Carolina, we hardly ever talk, ever. I mean, there's possibilities we go 6 to 9 months without texting or speaking. Something will happen and we're together, and it's like we were together all week last week. Like, oh, it's fine. And then we both, because we're both have nutty busy lives. Like, so then we disappear and we don't speak anymore. And no one's bothered. I can't do it. Like, I can't. If you need me to be doing this all the time, I can't do that. I got too many kids, a wife, a ministry, stuff in my life. I let things drift. I let emails drift, and I try. And sometimes I'll go way back. I'll go clean it up every once in a while. I'm like, hey, it's been 2 weeks, but I'm sorry, but.
I call a guy. I called a guy the other day. I was 3 weeks later. I called him. I saw that email. I called him and I said, listen, I'm sorry. What's going on? Like I try to catch up to the big things.
Yeah, I agree.
But again, sometimes you gotta. You have a day where you have a good 2-hour block. You just go through and clean it up.
I've done this. Yeah, I do it all the time. But I see emergencies. I see pressing matters, and I'm like, okay, this needs to come to the top, and I do deal with those. But yeah, all these like little like conversations back and forth about just life and frivolous things. I'm not annoyed. Again, I'm not mad at anybody, and I don't expect anyone to do it to me. Sometimes I send you stupid little things. I'm like, did you see this? And you give me nothing back. But I don't expect. We'll just move on.
Yeah.
Like you send me stuff. Did you see this?
I will send brilliant, clever things to you. And I'm waiting for like a LOL, and there's nothing.
No.
I'm like, that creative energy went into the abyss.
I know. And then sometimes right away, it's great. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. But it's just, you don't have time. But anyway, maybe that's helpful. We let it go a little longer because it might be helpful to other people. Because this is tyranny. You said it. We can live under the tyranny.
There's a book called The Tyranny of the Urgent.
Yes.
Where you let other people's needs define your life. There's another book called Boundaries by
Yeah, it's a very famous book.
Cloud and
I don't know.
the other guy.
Rain. That was dumb. Yeah, no, I know.
And those are very good books because we can't live our lives ruled by other people's.
No.
I see people who live under that tyranny, and whenever someone guilt trips them, they go with them. No way.
Oh, I should probably do this. Why? Like why? You don't have to respond to every single thing. And then, if there are people that are going to guilt you and leverage guilt, you don't have to accept that.
No.
Like, I don't accept that. Like, I just go, oh, okay. Did you get my text? I think so. I'm not doing the thing where you like make me feel bad and then I gotta I gotta bow. I'm not gonna do that. Like and people don't have to do that.
Speaking of things we can and cannot do, can or can I not sue people? That's today's topic. Can or can I not sue people? And there is a movement in Christianity. That's a tough. I had to turn it. We were going too far on this stuff.
We were going crazy.
I've heard some Christians say you can't sue people.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a true, faithful, faith-filled follower of Jesus, you're not going to sue people. And that comes from one passage of Scripture. Yeah. We go to 1 Corinthians 6. This is where we're going to begin our time together. Can a Christian sue somebody?
Okay.
Can we? I pay someone to do my deck. They take my money and never come back. Can I sue that person? You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Like, what can we go to the courts as Christians and do lawsuits with other people? So 1 Corinthians 6 says the following.
Yeah, go.
Does any one of you, when he has a case against another, dare to be tried before the unrighteous and not before the saints? Or do you not know that the saints will judge the world? If the world is judged by you, are you not worthy to constitute the smallest law courts? Do you not know that we will judge angels? How much more matters of this life? So if you have law courts dealing with matters of this life, do you appoint those who are of no account in the church as judges? I say this to your shame. Is it really this way? There's not one wise man among you who will be able to pass judgment between the brothers? On the contrary, brother is tried against brother, and that before the unbelievers. Actually, then, it is already a failure for you that you have lawsuits with one another. Why not rather be wronged? Why not rather be defrauded? There's a thing. Why not rather to be wrong? Why not rather to be defrauded?
Right.
Some would say you can't sue people because of this
Right.
text.
And that's a strong text.
Some context for this text. First of all,
It's in the body of Christ is a specific context. This passage has been a little bit abused.
big time abuse.
Say what
It's
you
been
just said.
overstated.
Yeah, it has.
It's between Christian and Christian.
It is. That's why, That's why he says you're doing this before the unbelievers. You go to a worldly court, and this is within the body, Christ follower, and you become a stumbling block to the lost in so doing.
You bring the church's business or Christian, this Christian, we speak that we have community, we have unity, we have forgiveness, we have love for one another. And then we're in front of the laws of humanity.
Yeah.
And we can't even resolve a silly issue.
Yeah, right.
And in the text he says, is there not someone in the church to help resolve this matter?
Yeah, and that's the mechanism for it.
It says, like, if there's something in the church going wrong, find the pastor and talk about it and make peace without the force of law. Just make it right.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Right.
Because that's really tough.
I agree, but that's what it is saying.
That's what it's saying straight up.
Handle this
In-house.
in the house, yes. Which then all kinds of things come to the surface now. Are you even connected to a body of believers? Are you accountable? Are you under authority? Yes.
And we believe you should be under authority.
Yes.
I am under authority.
Yes, us included. Right.
Like, I don't live my life as a maverick. I am under authority. I can be held accountable, and I want and need that in my life.
You and I, if we have a dispute, I build your deck, you don't pay me, or the reverse or something. You sell me a car or whatever. I didn't give you the money, like I said. We have a mechanism. If we're walking with the Lord, even though one of us is offended, we have an authority. We'd come to a certain structure of leadership and go, we need help to reconcile this within the house. Like, hopefully our gut reaction isn't going to be like, well, I'm going to file a lawsuit and go to court against you.
So what does it look like in real life? In the city of Flint, there was a pastor and some deacons got in a fight. And they went to the court saying, who has authority over this church? Who's in charge? The pastor changed the locks, and the deacons changed the locks after he changed the locks. It's all in the newspaper. It's all in an article in the newspaper.
Wow.
And you know what the world looks at that and sees? These stupid Christians.
I did want to say it.
They talk so they have the love of God.
That's what they see.
And they're just like everybody else. They're petty, and they're small, and they're greedy. It's all about money. And he says here, if you go before the courts in these kind of matters, you've already failed.
Yeah.
There's so much sin in the house.
Yeah.
Going before the world, you have brought Christ to open shame in kind of ways. And he says here, that horrible thing, it's better to be defrauded than to besmirch the name of Christ.
That's right.
Take the hit.
Just let it go.
Be wronged and walk away. Wow, that's not the American way, dude.
No. Stand up for yourself. Don't let people walk all over you. Don't be a doormat.
Listen, I'm not going to go into it too much. I was in a moment in my life, I was in a ministry, a church environment where there was disagreement between authority, between those that had power. And I had a decision to make. I could fight the authority that was over me. And I had some guns, I had some bullets in my gun. I could have fought.
Yep.
And I chose to be wronged. I chose to be wrong because I didn't want to hurt the body of Christ, and I didn't want to hurt the church's testimony to the world.
Yeah, right.
So you take that hit.
Yep.
It was hard. Even though I did what was wrong right up front, There was bitterness involved after the fact.
Oh, sure.
It's hard to be wronged and to stay clean the whole time.
Yeah.
There's times you're just the flesh and the anger and
Yeah.
all that stuff boils up and you just I still battle with it sometimes.
Yeah.
It still comes up. I don't regret falling on the sword. I don't regret choosing to be wrong because I did it for the kingdom. I did it for the king. I can look in the mirror and know whatever happened, I did no evil. I did not misrepresent the Lord. That is that's hard advice to take.
Right.
Be wronged.
Be wronged. And for a lot of people, they are bigger than the mission. You know, a lot of people, they think they're about the gospel mission, but when it comes to swallowing a personal offense and walking away without retaliation, they're not going to do that. Like, they are going to defend themselves and think that God is with them in doing that, when in fact Christ was whipped, beaten, mocked, crown of thorns, and nailed to a cross,
and still
did not
said,
open his mouth.
And still said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Yes. I mean, that's what those verses mean. Like a sheep led to the slaughter, he did not open his mouth. To where even Pilate, who had authority to crucify or free him, was going, don't you want to say anything? You know, like, and he didn't do it. And people don't see themselves wanting to follow Christ's example, having to do similar things in a metaphorical way when we are offended. They're all about the gospel until it costs them. And look, I'll put myself on the hook. It's tough to do that. So within the body, can you ever sue within the body? I mean, is this a blanket?
Legally, you can. You can go to the court for anything. You can go
Sure, you can. Is the Bible forbidding it here?
It's not a forbid. It's not. I don't think it's a commandment, but it is a warning. It is it's a failure. It is.
It's a good way to say it.
It's a failure of many sorts.
Is it a sin against the Lord?
I don't know, man. I mean, if the Lord commanded you and you disobey, that's a sin against the Lord. The Lord said, don't do this, and you did it anyway.
Is this a command from the Lord to not do it? I mean, he says, I say it to your shame, so it seems seems pretty strong.
He's saying, be wrong. Take the hit for the kingdom.
I think he's saying it. It's strong. Within the body, I'm saying.
And this is hard because what if the authority is wrong that's doing you wrong? It says, take the hit.
Yeah, this gets into some tough territory.
And listen, let Saul throw the spirit at you,
mm-hmm.
and you keep playing the harp. That's tough.
That's what happened.
And you know what? God's going to deal with Saul.
That's where people need to be told, like, it doesn't mean there won't be more than adequate justice. We just don't want to trust God to do it. We don't want to wait. Sometimes you have to play the long game and trust the Lord and wait longer than you would have to in a court. But the consequence from the Lord is much better and much more complete than the consequence of man. But people are not patient for that. They don't have faith in that sometimes.
Now, I want to say just to make it clear, we talk about this stuff. We're talking about civil matters, disagreements between believers. If there's like sexual abuse in the house, you don't handle it in house. That kind of crap we call the police for.
But that is handling it in house, right? Like that is, to report a crime from within the house and bring the consequence. That's different than, me filing a lawsuit against you over something.
Right. There's a difference. So we would never say.
Yeah, we're not covering.
No cover sin up.
This is good that you say this.
Just because people here, I know there's in light of what we've seen in the world, that some organizations would cover up internal sin.
Yeah,
also,
we have. Yeah,
most of those places that do that are covering up for powerful people against weak people.
Yeah. Or to protect the name of the ministry because
Right.
they think that people are going to leave or money's going to go away or something like that.
If a leader in an organization has abused people sexually, they should be reported to the police, and they should they should deal with it by a loss. So I'm not trying to say handle those kind of things in-house. Just make sure we just get that out of the way.
This is very important to say. I agree. And I think that's covered differently in Romans 13, that the government ordinances are an avenger against those who do evil. We are a part of that in a way, but lawsuits against one another is a different thing. Yeah.
Now, so we're saying believer to believer, the Bible seems to say it's better to take the hit And what's implying no more than that, it's implying if we're truly both in Christ, we should be able to come to some kind of decision.
We should be able to fix it.
We should be able to figure it out. Like, if there's a thing between us.
Yeah, there's a such thing as mediation and counsel.
Yes. Someone comes and says, listen, it seems fair if X, Y, Z happens. And you go, okay, we're going to do that. I'm going to give you this, you're going to give me this, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
But leaving Christian versus Christian. Okay. Some rules about lawsuits. First, I'll say this. Let's say it's just out there in the world. You fall down in Kroger, you break your hip.
Okay.
So it happened. Kroger, they had a leaky cooler, didn't fix it, no sign, you fall.
Mm-hmm.
You sue Kroger. Are you allowed to? I think so.
This is more challenging.
Now, I would say this about suing things in the world. There's one thing I think of when it comes to suing people, and it's the 9th commandment. You shall not bear false witness.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to sue someone, you better not be lying.
Oh, yeah, it better be all true.
God is against lying. He's against, bearing false witness is a legal term. Don't sue someone and get in front of a stinking judge or jury and lie through your teeth to do something legally. God is not with you if you do that.
No, I agreed. I'm thinking through. If that's not assumed, I don't know how we go.
I'm
further.
just telling you. Dude, listen.
Yeah, you're right.
People
I know.
put their Christianity
I know.
in a different bucket
I know.
than their business, than their legal realities.
And that is so not right.
No, it's not. We parse it all out.
Yeah.
Our faith should have influenced how we do things and what we do. I shouldn't go in front of a judge and say, I need this much money for pain and suffering, and I try to overemphasize my discomfort to get more money out of somebody.
Put a neck brace on.
That's it's wrong.
I still can't move my neck. I need $1 million,
dude. I know Christians who get hurt at work and they have to fake something to keep their stinking to stay off work longer. Put crutches down. I can't see if someone comes by. Tell me so. I'll put crutches back on because if they see me not of crutches, I'll get in trouble. I'm like, you're a liar.
You're a liar.
You're a liar.
You're a liar and a con man.
Look, what you're doing is wrong, and you should get busted
You're
for
a liar. People that accept disability, but they're out in the front yard playing softball, but I better not play in the front yard or whatever. I can't play on the church softball team. Someone sees me because I'm on disability, but you could play softball. You're a liar.
We treat law
Repent
different
before the Lord.
Dude, I'm from the hood, and in the hood, suing people for things is the funnest thing in the world, dude. You ever seen these videos of people will run in front of a car and jump on the hood?
Yes.
Listen, that's lying.
That's lying.
Lying.
Yeah,
it's not of God.
That's a con in every way. Yep.
So if you're going to sue someone, you better make sure you're not overemphasizing, over-exaggerating. You better make sure you're telling the truth, because otherwise you may win the court of law before the God of heaven. You are a liar, and he will judge you in return.
Yeah, for sure.
The Jews used to have this thing in the Jewish law that if you bore testimony that you saw something happen, and it was a false testimony, the punishment was you received the penalty of what you're testifying against.
Wow.
How awesome is that?
That would eradicate some lies.
If I try to, in the Old Testament scriptures, if I say that person murdered somebody, and I was lying through my teeth, they came out that I was lying.
You get treated like a murderer?
I get the murder rap on me.
Hey now, ricochet.
Dude, so don't lie.
Okay.
Next principle I'll say.
Okay, so right now we're saying, believer toward the unbelieving world.
Yes. Some corporation poisons your water. Can you sue them? Do it.
I'm not saying that. We're saying you could.
You could.
That this 1 Corinthians 6
does not
necessarily apply to that. I'm not saying do it, but
I'm saying you're free to do it.
This does not forbid that.
Yes.
You're free, I guess.
When I was 14, I got hit by a Jeep. And it blew my bike up, wrecked. I was tore up. I hit by a Jeep. I've been hit by more than one vehicle in my life. I used to ride my bike a lot.
Oh, we should talk about crosswalks.
I was at a crosswalk.
Yeah, what was the color? Was it the little guy?
The guy turned the little white symbol, the walk thing, and I'm like, dude, blow! The one on my bike, man. I push out from the curb. I look, and I see a Jeep. She's got a red light, but the lady's looking left. She wants to make the right. She doesn't see me at all. She's trying to go through the red light and make that right, and she just goes right through me, dude. So she wrecks my life, dude. I'm a bloody mess in the middle of the road. I'm telling you, I'm a bloody. I have burn marks in my arm from her grill. Okay, she wrecks my life.
Okay.
She says, "I'm so sorry. I'm gonna buy you a new bike. I wrecked your bike." I'm like, "Thank you so much." She drives me back to Mom's house. No, she's smart. No ambulance. She covered her butt. This lady did. I go to the hospital. All that stuff. She never calls about the bike.
Vanished into the wind.
So my mom sued her.
Okay.
For the bike. And
for the bike?
For the cost of a new bike.
Give me a new bike.
$120. It was a Schwinn from Meyer. $120. The judge is like, so the suits for $120. It's like small claims, nothing. It's like $120 covers this. And my lawyer tries, like the person tries right then to go, well, I'm using a lot of pain. And the judge goes, how much is the bike? Like, he didn't want to deal with it. He's like, how much does the bike cost? I could have turned on the tears and tried to get more out of her, but I didn't want to be that I was a brand new Christian.
No.
I don't want to lie. I don't want to cheat.
Try to soak somebody.
Just give me the money for the bike back, and I'll go on with my life. So we sued her, and I don't regret that. Like, she said, you could buy me a new bike. She hit me with the car. She didn't. So she bought me a new bike for $120.
What is turn the other cheek, walk the second mile, give him your coat too, apply to this? I'm not even challenging what you're saying. I'm working it out in my own head right now. Like, what does that have to do with it?
I don't know, man.
Because that's not in the house. That's not what he's saying. I don't believe that. You believe that? That he's saying this is Christian to Christian.
That's like Rome comes and Rome. There's a law. You must if a military needs you to carry something for a mile, if your military needs help, you're required by law to go a mile with the help.
Right.
And he's like, listen, go with them too.
Walk another one. Volunteer.
Voluntarily do more than you're asked for.
What'd you say? It's either one or the other. After your coat, give him your shirt. Here, you're missing this part. You volunteer. And it's about like a burdensome. You're being used.
You read Les Mis?
No.
When Jean Valjean, this priest lets Jean Valjean come and sleep in the church.
Okay.
And he steals a candle, and he runs, and the police catch him, bring him back. And like, priest, this man stole your candles. And the priest's like, oh, you left before you take the rest. And he gives him more things. And like, he tells him, he's like, today I have bought your soul. You belong to the Lord. Like, it's a powerful story.
I like it.
But that priest is like, I'm going to take care of you. I'm not going to destroy you, which is a powerful moment in the book. Anyways, listen.
Can, but should.
I think you're free to.
I agree with that. I have to.
I don't think we have to. And maybe because of the text you just mentioned, we shouldn't be litigious people.
Oh no, I think that's
I'm just saying
to the wall.
We shouldn't be a lawsuit
looking
happy
to sue anyone.
Boom. We shouldn't. That shouldn't be who we are.
Yeah. So I mean, I can This is hard.
Listen,
now people out there are going to think, well, no, it's easy, man. If you really want to capture the heart of Jesus, we should have to wrestle through these things. Because it is a radical life he calls us to. It's nuts, and people don't want to hear that. They're probably like, what's the even debate? Dude, if they hit you and you're on your bike, I'm not criticizing but they're like, it's a no-brainer. You sue for healthcare costs. Like, yeah, that's how the world thinks. Jesus never did any of that, and so we have to take that into consideration if we're going to live like him. And he basically said the opposite of what you don't.
But he also says, be wise as serpents and gentle as doves. He tells parables of these workers who go and get half the money for what is owed, so they give themselves a way to live after they get fired from their job. That's the stories are kind of conniving. You know the parable, right?
Yeah.
The shrewd manager.
Yeah.
Be wise as a serpent, gentle as a dove. So Jesus he's like, the children of the earth are smarter than us when it comes to business matters. He says that. So I think there's freedom.
I agree. I do agree. I'm just
trying
to really be honest.
When I was 14, and my mom wanted me to sue for that bike, I was a brand new Christian. And because of this verse, I was afraid to sue her.
1 Corinthians 6.
I'm like, should I sue her? Am I being a bad Christian? Am I being a bad follower of Jesus? I don't regret that we did that. And also, I was under my mom's authority, so she...
That's different. I understand.
My son broke his leg at a playground. I never thought to sue the playground because I'm like, kids get
where
hurt.
People's mind goes right away.
Never even occurred to me.
No.
I'm like, we were playing, he got hurt. This happens.
No. But there could be a case, but but it's only out of some necessity, and it's not more, and it's not out of vengeance, because the Bible says never take your own revenge. So it's like I need to teach them a lesson. You're not the one to teach anybody a lesson. We don't teach lessons. God does that part.
Yes.
And we definitely don't look to do it. We're not looking for opportunity. Well, maybe you could have a case for a lawsuit.
I got a sweet old lady in my church. She works at a factory. She's a widow. She pulls up to her place of work, got out of her car, and she didn't see that the parking lot had a sheet of ice. Apparently it had rained and no one had salted her or anything. She got out of the car and she falls and her shoulder rips out of socket and she gets tore up, this old lady does. Yeah. And so they give her disability. She has multiple surgeries. Well, they come to her and they say, we're going to give you a settlement for the injury you happened on the... Yeah. And they offer a settlement. And she comes to me, she says, Pastor, they offer me the settlement. What do I do? And I'm like, I'm not a lawyer. I think you have to look at this and make sure it's all up. I don't know what this stuff is. Yeah. She got a lawyer. Again, her goal was not to rob people blind. She's like, I don't know how to read this document you gave me.
Exactly, and I'm sure it's deliberately confusing.
And they helped her. They didn't go that much over. They said, listen, this seems weird. This seems weird. They make it all right. All is good in the world. That was us being wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. Our goal was not to bleed them dry.
Or satisfy your rage.
Right.
Like, I'm going to hit these people back.
Not our goal at all.
Yeah.
I think a Christian can sue, but I hear what you're saying. I think a Christian should be prayerful about it.
Well, and the natural lean, and I don't even know if we're right on this, but we're not. There isn't a forbiddance against it, and it's certainly not 1 Corinthians 6. Now, when you want to talk about how Jesus lived and try to follow that, well, that's a radical thing.
So radical.
And so, and that's, we should aspire to, we should be pushing into that.
Dude, we started this podcast by saying, be wronged. Who says that?
Yeah, be wronged.
Who says, let yourself get smoked and walk out of the room, smile the whole time?
Yeah, right.
Who talks like this? Nobody.
Yeah. So I think the lean, though, even against the unbelieving world, is you want to lean away from it. You don't want to look for opportunity, but there may be occasions, and yeah, you could be free to do it. We have to admit that there is a window of permission, if you will. Freedom would be maybe the word. But man, you sure don't want to be looking to do that.
So I think what we're saying is there may be freedom, but you need to be prayerful. Mm-hmm. You can't be vendetta. It cannot
it can't
based
be
in vengeance.
Angry heart. No.
Yeah. It can't be a lie.
It can't be a lie. It shouldn't be in the body of Christ.
It shouldn't be in the body of Christ. There's a really famous pastor who's suing his church to get his brand name back.
Yeah, that's weird.
And it's in the there's a pastor down at SBC. And he's suing, there's a pastor suing a denomination, and he's saying straight up, he's like, you guys have cost me all this money. I'm suing you because of what you've cost me. And I'm like, you're a leader in the church, and you're suing the church of God for money?
Yeah, it's to his shame.
It's to his shame.
It is to your shame, sir. Shame from the scripture upon you. Honest. That stuff makes my blood boil. Now we got to overcome this out in the world. You put this stumbling block over $1 out there.
They'd say, well, it's over a lot of dollars. I'm like, it ain't worth it.
Don't get me started.
Shaming Christ is not worth it.
No, it's not.
My wife always used to tell me, I was going to go out for a play in Flint. I was going to be in a play because I like drama a lot.
Imagine.
And she said, I'm like, babe, if the play had me kissing a lady on the stage, would you be okay with that? She's like, no, I wouldn't be okay with that. I'm like, well, stage kisses, usually you a certain way you do it. It's like, okay, stage kiss allowed, but not a real kiss. I'm like, what if it, she's like, no. I'm like, babe, it's fake. She's like, no. And so I'm like, well, what if I was in a movie and I had to kiss a lady? She's like, you're not in movies. I'm like, it was the what ifs. I'm like, babe, what if they paid me like $2 million to be in a movie? I had to kiss a lady. $2 million. She's like, so your integrity is worth $2 million. And I was like, So Burger King, huh? it put the question into solid terms. How much is your integrity worth?
Yes.
How much will I sell out the gospel, sell out the kingdom, sell out the Christ for? How much is it worth? No way.
No way. No way.
So you can, but pray and check your heart.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to email us, ask for any questions. This was a tough one.
It was real hard, actually.
Email us at
Rock Fenton.
No. Encore. Encore at rockfenton.com.
Got it.
Boom.
Got it, Braden.
All right, everybody. Have a great day. Grace and peace to you and yours.